We're going to start with what we're going to call Panic Watch.
Ooh, we're starting with Panic Watch.
Starting with Panic Watch. Okay. So there are teams that started the year ranked in Dave Campbell's Texas football, and we want to go through.
Okay.
And 5 of them we've chosen.
Sure.
We're going to allot their, we're going to from one not panicking at all to 5 full blown get in the basement panic.
Now, I'll warn you ahead of time. Originally, we had agreed to a 1 through 5 scale.
Yes.
The best graphic I could find.
Oh, no.
Very low, low, moderate, high, very high.
Okay, I can do that.
You can live with that,
I can
right?
do that.
Okay.
So where are we starting with?
Let's start with the Vandegrift Vipers with a record of 7-1, 4-1, only loss to number 1 Cedar Park.
Right. Their one loss is to Cedar Park, right? They're number 1 in the state. I think that, and they of course can play great score at will with Alex Fernandez and Paxton Sagina and Travis Brandon and stuff. Very high.
Still going very high.
I would say high or very high.
What's your issue there?
Defense.
Not a big surprise considering how things ended for them last year against Temple.
So here are
stopping the high fireworks opponents is going to be an issue.
Here are their last 3 games.
Okay.
A 63-55 win over Vista Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
A 58-45 loss to Vandegrift.
Right. Cedar Park,
rather.
Yes.
And a 50-45 win over Dripping Springs. So they've given up in the past 3 weeks 55, 58, 45 points.
And if I'm not mistaken, trailed to begin all of those games, at least most of the first half.
I love this offense. And I think that the offense can kind of bailer their way through a lot of problems.
Right.
But at some point, if you have legitimate state title aspirations, you have to face a team that can score, and you have to stop them.
Right.
And I'm not certain they can.
Okay.
And this started early when they gave up 30 to Elgin, when they gave up 42 to Abilene Cooper.
Right.
I'm worried about this Vandegrift defense. I put them at high or very high. Who's next?
Okay. Let's talk about the Arlington Martin Warriors, 6-2, 5-0 in district.
Old Bob Wager's squad. I would say low. Not very low, but low.
Low.
I think a lot of people forgot. It's funny how Texas high school football fans' minds work. That they beat DeSoto in the opener on national television. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, Arlington Martin's the next big thing.
They've made the leap.
They've made it.
Yeah.
And then they lose the next week to a really good Skyline team, and they lose the week after that to a pretty good South Grand Prairie team.
Right.
And everyone's like, oh, well, never mind. They're 1-2. Forget them. I am buying them. I am really, I think that there's no reason to panic. I think they get, what I love is that they have 3 different guys that can lean on to run the ball. With Jason Huntley, Juma Ontoviano. I'm sorry, Juma. You're awesome, though. And Nick Smith. They can run the ball if they need to. They can turn to Miles Kelly. They can throw the ball a bit. And to me, what sets them apart is that they can play defense. DeQuaylen Thomas, Jimmy Nelson. I like this defense. I like this. I like the coach. I think that Bob Wager is one of the very best in the state. I'm buying them. I think Arlington Martin still got something. I think everybody kind of forgot about them after 2 straight losses. I really like this Martin team. I think their panic level is low to very low.
Okay. All right.
What's next?
Let's talk about Abilene Wylie at 6-2, 2-0 in district play.
The Bulldogs.
I'm
also going low with them.
Okay.
I think that they are, low, maybe middling.
Moderate.
Maybe moderate. Maybe moderate.
Okay.
So here are the things that I really like about Abilene Wylie. Okay,
I'm listening.
The coach, Hugh Sandifer, is great. Hugh Sandifer, every year that you forget about how great a coach he is, and he will take whatever you give him and turn it into a contender.
Okay.
Period. Every year. Love Hugh Sandifer. And I love their defense. I love, Riley Hedge, Blake Johnston, Josiah Light. I like this defense a lot. They've given up 87 points all year in 8 games.
Okay.
That's really good. Here's what I don't like and what puts me at moderate.
I've been waiting for this part.
Level. Their offense tends to sometimes forget to show up. And as good, they're pretty reliant on the Tyler Ward Express, their quarterback, and Jackson Money, their wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And if those two guys aren't connecting, they kind of get stuck in the mud offensively. Now, their defense can cover up a lot of warts. I mean, for example, a couple of weeks ago, they played a Brownwood team that was just rolling over people, beat them 7-3. I mean, they can win those types of games.
Right.
But what I'm more worried about is when they play a team, for example, like they played Liberty Hill earlier in the year and they lost 13-6, where the defense does its part. Unquestionably. You hold Liberty Hill to 13 points on the road, you should win that game. The offense just couldn't get its wheels underneath them. That's why I worry a little bit. I put them at moderate for Abilene Wylie. That's why I worry about them a little bit. Okay. Who's next?
The Dickinson Gators at 8-0, 5-0.
As low as you can go.
Okay.
As low as you can go. I love this Dickinson team. They've got a big test this week against Clear Creek, battle of unbeatens here. But I like this team because as much as we talk about Jordan Myers and as good as he's been, 8.2 yards a carry. Oh, wow. They can also throw it with Dalen Baines. They've got a playmaker, a couple playmakers on the outside, Jacoby Fowler and Jordan Myers can catch out of the backfield. But what I like is that they press the issue defensively. They are a team that forces a lot of turnovers. They force you into mistakes, and then they capitalize on them. It is an opportunistic defense. Coach John Snelson's doing a great job. I think they're going to beat Clear Creek. I really like this Dickinson team, and when they get into the playoffs, I believe they're going to go to Division I, if that's correct. Let me look at this real quick. I should have done this before the show.
Oh, that's fine. We got nothing else to do.
I believe, they're going to go Division
Oh, okay.
They're going to go Division I, so then they'd see a team like, they'd see a team like A-Leaf Elsick in the first round, and I think they'd beat them. I like this Dickinson team because they seem like a complete team. They're not reliant on one player or one specific factor of their team. One more. Let's get one more.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Newton Eagles.
It is full-blown panic for Newton.
3-0 in district play, though.
I know.
Rough start.
I know.
And a tough schedule.
I know.
Tough schedule.
Real tough
All
schedule.
the credit in the world to that team for their pre-district schedule because they were not messing around, but they paid for it.
I worry that their offense, I haven't seen their offense really do anything against a good team. And so you look at they've got three district wins. And they scored 58 against Deweyville, they scored 38 against Crockett, they scored 41 against Corrigan Camden. Good wins, but I'm not sold yet. I don't think I worry about the offense because you look at earlier in the year, they score 6 against West Orange Stark. Now, we think West Orange Stark's really good.
And a much bigger school.
But I worry about them. They lose. I haven't seen their offense show up in a big game. That Tatum win in the opener looks like eons ago. And by the way, Tatum's 0-8.
Yeah.
So,
another surprising one. Yeah.
I worry a lot. They've got Tanner Holmes. I love that guy at the linebacker spot and a real game changer, but I worry about their offensive consistency. I'm worried about Newton. I'm worried about them once they hit the playoffs.
Could you see them, though, going on a run, maybe with some late-season momentum?
Yeah, I think so. I think they could. I think that if they get hot and they get J-Ron Hanks going, their running back, he's over 1,000 yards in the year. If they get him going, and then I think the sky's the limit because they've got Tanner Holmes. They've got that superstar playmaker on the defense. The question is going to be, can they get that offense just out of the mud against a good team? Because once you get to the playoffs, it's all good teams. There's no pushovers. And so I worry a lot about Newton, a team that I had very high hopes for, and I don't want to jump off the bandwagon, but I worry about them. I've got very high panic level for them.
All right.